You're probably not going to believe me, but there is a way to lower your stress, be more successful, and be more happier. I'm talking about self-love. Now, before you go, wait, hear me out. You might hear a lot of people talking about how self-love is important, but I'm going to explain to you why it's important. This is not another one of these, oh, you just need to tell yourself a few affirmations and then everything will be good. But I am going to explain to you why it is so important from my own experience of why looking after ourselves is absolutely necessary in our life. It's not just about boosting our own ego. It's actually a form of self-care. Why do we speak to ourselves in such a nasty manner? The stuff that we say to ourselves, we would never dream of saying to anyone else. Not our friends, not our family. So why do we punish ourselves? If I was speaking to a friend who is also going through the same thing as I was, then of course I'd be offering the advice of, you know what, you need to take care of yourself. But when it comes to myself, I'm awful at it. It's ironic that when I stop taking care of myself, my self-esteem drops. No longer do I believe in myself. I no longer think that I can actually achieve things. I no longer think that I'm good enough. I wouldn't dream of saying to my friends, you're not good enough, or why do you think you deserve this? So why do we make ourselves suffer? Why do we think that whipping ourselves is going to do anything? We are self-sabotaging our chances of actually enjoying things in life when we do this. And self-care isn't just about standing in front of a mirror and saying, I love you, I am good enough, I am worthy. It's the other things that are necessary as well. It's taking care in your appearance, taking care of your hygiene, especially this when I know that many people, when they get depressed, sometimes it can be the first thing that starts to go. We stop taking showers, we stop brushing our teeth, we stop brushing our hair. And this is the small things that can help us regain parts of ourselves. It is not the responsibility of someone else to love us so that we can then feel like we are deserving. It's not the responsibility of someone else to tell us that we're beautiful or handsome so that we then finally feel like we're good enough. We need to be able to believe this in ourselves. We need to be able to take care of ourselves, because I'm very certain that you are good at taking care of others. So now it's time to do it for yourself. Why is it important? Because it just seems to have a massive effect on everything that we do. When we don't love ourselves, we won't step out of our comfort zone and go for the opportunities, because we've already decided in ourselves that we're not good enough. We then will also hold back on so many other things that could end up giving us enjoyment because we think that we're not deserving. Do you see why this is such an issue? You are basically making yourself suffer, and really, regardless of the traumas that you might have, there is no reason to continue a cycle that only creates misery. Life is a gift, and we need to be grateful that we are alive. Yes, there are things that aren't great, and some things are also very beyond our control. But the one thing that we can control is what we think of ourselves. And if we don't believe in ourselves, how can we convince other people to believe in us as well? When we practice self-love, we are laying the foundations for boundaries. We are nurturing our relationships. We are then persevering for our goals. And I'm sure that there is still something inside of you that just wants to achieve something. Why give up now? Feeling pride in our identity is powerful. Now, I feel like some people might think that there's a grey area between self-love and narcissism. Narcissism is where you think that you're better than everyone else. You don't look at your flaws, and it doesn't matter because the only person's opinion that you care about is yourself. Self-love is different. It is about loving yourself, but it's about loving all of the parts of you. It's about recognizing that you are good at some stuff, but there's also some things that maybe you're not so great at. However, you can still improve on that. So there's room for growth. And self-love isn't about just ignoring everyone's opinions, but you will value yourself more. And when we finally achieve this, the confidence comes out. If you want to become a more confident person, start on yourself. Start looking at you and believing in yourself more. We see people that are confident, and they might not necessarily think that they're best, but they have a better idea on their self-identity. They know who they are. They're more likely to not feel upset if someone criticizes because they understand and value their opinion. However, they know themselves more, and that is powerful. It's about feeling safe with who you are. When you are happier within yourself, it will create an inner peace that then will make you feel like you can achieve anything. You'll find yourself less stressed in scenarios, and you will be happier because you'll be able to focus on the better things rather than telling yourself, you know what, you don't deserve this. Why don't I deserve this? Why can't I have this? I'm working hard. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I know that I have value, and that is what you need to be telling yourself, that you do have value. And with self-love comes resilience. We're able to handle things better with grace and strength. We're able to persevere because we know that there's more to this. We can overcome this. We deserve to get past this because there's so much more in life that is worthy of experiencing. We get excited to experience these things, and that is why it's important. It's ironic that when I stopped loving myself, I stopped taking care, that everything just started to go downhill. I wasn't really looking after my hygiene. I wasn't making myself feel nice by dressing in nice clothes. I just kind of covered up in baggy stuff. And the symbolism behind that is that I'm hiding myself away. I don't feel confident enough to wear something that is maybe figure hugging because I didn't like my figure. My self-esteem dropped. And it made me feel upset with myself because I thought, well, I've neglected myself. The thing is, the way that I was talking to myself wasn't very nice. To myself, I was saying, how could you? You let yourself go. You're disgusting now. And of course, it's hurting myself. And so then my happiness drops. The tension in my relationships rise. And suddenly I'm not a person that people really want to be around because I am too busy on myself, focused on hurting myself. I wouldn't dream of saying this stuff to any of my friends. If they had put on weight and they weren't happy, I would be telling them that they could do something, that there was hope, that there was inspiration, that this wasn't the end. And yet to myself, I didn't give that same treatment. And so you need to look after yourself. And self-love comes in many forms. It's not just the physical aspects of dressing nicer and looking after your hygiene. It's also looking after your mind. It's doing the things that might actually help you, like journaling or meditating or even reading. For me, I found it very cathartic that when I was suffering, I read books about people that were also suffering, that had similar experiences to me, because I wanted to understand. I started recognizing that I needed to give myself a little bit of credit, that this was normal to feel this way, but also that it wasn't going to be the only way that I felt. Self-love also expands to doing stuff that we enjoy, like going on a walk. That physical activity boosts the endorphins. And it's so good for yourself because you are looking after your body. I will say something like, use it or lose it. And I very much believe that if we use our bodies, that our mobility will last us a lot longer than if you don't use it. So for me, looking after myself with physical exercise, whether that's a run or going for a walk or occasionally going to the gym when I finally got past that mental block, then I feel so much happier for doing it. There's other ways as well that incorporate self-love, and that's financially. Do you know how much you spend? Do you know how much you've saved? Doing this, having that awareness, is showing to yourself that, look, I care about you. Why struggle? Because all you're gonna do is put unnecessary stress on yourself. And so when we look after ourselves, everything else in our lives becomes a lot easier. Relationships become easier to tend to. Our financial side of things becomes easier to look after because we value ourselves. We recognize that actually I probably need to keep an eye on my bank balance so that it doesn't go down to a number that is going to make things stressful. Self-love isn't just about standing in front of the mirror and telling yourself that you love yourself. It's about showing it to yourself as well. And so these are the things that we can do for ourselves that will help us value more. And sometimes self-love is also about putting yourself first and saying no. Don't go overboard with this. Don't just say no to every single thing that makes you feel slightly uncomfortable because You do want to come out of your comfort zone, but also if it's not going to benefit you, then really, why are we doing it? If you don't want to do something, then you need to respect yourself too. And don't always say yes just because you want to make the other person happy. You should also extend that out to yourself. Self-love isn't something that just overcomes you. It's something that you create for yourself. So when are you going to start respecting yourself? Start recognizing your attributes, not just your flaws, because it's finally time to take care of yourself. Self-love is what pulls you forward. And it's okay if you don't always love yourself at times, because it's something that you can always come back to. And when you love yourself and you care for yourself, other people will too. You're going to notice things are going to change a lot in life. Things are going to become easier. Things are going to become better. Things are going to be so much more exciting because you finally saw the value in yourself and you started giving back. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. And there's a lot of you that aren't subscribed yet, so I would probably subscribe because there's more videos that come out like these that I feel like you would very much benefit from. I will be rewatching this myself because there is some moments where I need to remind myself of the same lessons that I'm teaching you guys, and there is nothing wrong with that. So don't feel disheartened if you felt like you were making progress and you've kind of gone back on yourself, because this is the whole way that we grow. I have felt a lot of these same things, and I make these videos because I want to also share my own experience. I think it's really good for us all to kind of see that actually, you know what, this is completely normal that we feel this way, but there's also hope that we can make through this. So we're gonna do this together. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel and click the little bell so that you don't miss any future uploads, and hopefully I will see you on the next video.